But in philosophical terms, I'm what's called a pessimist.
Is it wrong for a Christian to be a pessimist? I suppose it's a good question, probably because you asked it, but I guess maybe if you want to know, here's our answer. Pessimism is defined as an inclination to emphasize adverse aspects, conditions, and possibilities, or to expect the worst possible outcome, or the doctrine that reality is essentially evil, the doctrine that evil overbalances happiness in life. Now that we've got Merriam-Webster out of the way, a pessimist is one who views the world through a darkened lens and considers this glass as half empty, whereas an optimist sees the same glass as half full and tries to see the brighter side.
I have to figure out if I'm an optimist or a pessimist.
You might notice these perspectives are opposed to one another.
Note, a pessimist is not supposed to be confused with a realist, who is one who accepts a situation as it is and is willing to deal with it accordingly.
You are a realist masquerading as a cynic who is secretly an optimist.
An attitude of pessimism is the very opposite of an attitude of hope and love. Hope is to desire with the expectation of confident fulfillment. Hope is one description of perfected love. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. If God is love, then those descriptions of love describe his characteristics that Christians should develop. It isn't possible to have faith while being pessimistic. Pessimists preview a future without God in it, or perhaps a God who doesn't care, or a God who fails us. But Jesus showed us God's love and offers a bright future. Jesus gives us reason to trust and hope. The Bible is a book full of hope, and while many events recorded in the Bible seemed dark and hopeless in their time, God's ongoing offer of restoration gives us hope for then, now, and the future. We are sinners, doomed by our sin to an eternity without God.
Well, that's a fact we have to live with, even if we try to repress it.
In that condition, we had a right to be pessimistic, until Jesus entered the scene.
Hope springs eternal.
Jesus gives everyone the opportunity of an eternity of hope. The human existence no longer needs to be defined as life is hard and then you die.
You would hear crickets chirping, but they were too uncomfortable about just how unfunny that actually was.
For the follower of Christ, existence is defined by Jesus' words. I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world. This should turn any pessimist into an optimist.
Well, that's good. Well, congratulations.
Many people are naturally questioners, skeptics, and doubters. Questioning, doubting the status quo, and curiosity over what-ifs aren't necessarily sinful, and can even be helpful.
That's not paranoia. That's a fact.
However, assuming the worst is not loving or godly. Believing that God can't handle our difficulties is not only pessimistic, but faithless and incorrect.
And that's bad.
Being optimistic does not mean that we must always put on a happy face.
Let's put a smile on that face.
Having a hopeful yet realistic attitude is healthy and biblical. A hopeful perspective helps us grow in our faith as we go through things that life deals us, both good and bad.
That's good advice!
We're imperfect creatures this side of heaven, so we shouldn't be surprised when others let us down. We should hope for their restoration as well as our own.
Can I get an amen on that? Oh, glory!
The bottom line, having a healthy understanding of human beings' earthly limitations helps us to forgive and extend grace, recognizing that through Jesus, we are forgiven, redeemed, restored, and saved is the best kind of optimism available. And it's available to all.
Call me a pessimist, but I think it's time for a new plan.
That was the answer to the question, is it wrong for a Christian to be a pessimist? Make sure to thumbs up, bell, and don't let Mr. Brown come around.